The morning sky above Earth's orbital station blazed with 12 points of light that had not existed the day before. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the USS Defiance, watching the alien ships grow larger as they approached. Each vessel looked like a giant crystal, glowing with soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. "They sure like to make an entrance," said Commander Beth Turner, joining Morrison at the viewport. She carried a datapad filled with first contact, protocols that seemed useless now that the moment had actually arrived. The lead alien ship was twice the size of Morrison's destroyer. Its surface rippled with patterns of light that moved across the crystal hull like water. Behind it, 11 smaller vessels formed a perfect diamond formation, their synchronized movements showing military precision. "Captain Morrison to the bridge," came the voice over the intercom. "We're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet." Morrison and Turner hurried to the bridge where Lieutenant Ryan Brooks was already working at the communications station. The main screen flickered and then showed the interior of what looked like a living cave. Smooth walls curved around a chamber filled with pale green light. The alien who appeared on screen was tall and thin, with skin that seemed to shift between blue and silver. 4 arms extended from its torso, and its head was elongated with large black eyes that reflected light like mirrors. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English through their translation systems. "I am Admiral Kextar of the Zephyrian Confederation," the alien said. Its voice was deep and carried a tone that suggested it was used to being obeyed. "We have come to bring your primitive world into our great empire. You should feel honored." Morrison kept his face calm, though he noticed several of his crew members exchanging glances. "I'm Captain Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. Welcome to our solar system. We're prepared to escort you to our diplomatic station." Kexatar's 4 arms moved in what might have been the alien version of a dismissive wave. "Your leaders will meet with us, yes. But first, you will witness the power of the Confederation so you understand what you are joining." The screen changed to show the outside of the alien flagship. Suddenly, the crystal hull blazed with brilliant light. Energy crackled along geometric patterns carved into the surface. A beam of pure white energy lanced out from the ship's front, striking an asteroid several miles away. The rock simply disappeared in a flash of light. "Our plasma lance can destroy your largest cities in moments," Kextar said, reappearing on screen. "We have used such weapons to bring 17 star systems under Confederation rule. None have been able to resist us." Commander Turner stepped forward. "That's certainly impressive technology, Admiral. Our leaders will be very interested to learn more about your Confederation." Kextar seemed pleased by her words. "Good. Your species shows wisdom. We have studied your world from a distance. Your technology is crude, but your people seem capable of learning. With proper guidance, humans might prove useful to the Confederation." Morrison felt his jaw tighten but kept his voice level. "We look forward to the discussions. If you'll follow us, we can begin the journey to the diplomatic station." The USS Defiance turned and began moving toward Earth's primary orbital facility. The 12 alien ships followed in their perfect formation, their crystal hulls continuing to pulse with that strange blue light. "Captain," Turner said quietly, "are you getting the same reading I am from their energy signatures?" Morrison glanced at his tactical display. The numbers there made him want to smile, but he kept his expression neutral. "Yes, Commander. Very interesting indeed." The journey to the station took 3 hours. During that time, Admiral Kextar continued to broadcast information about the Confederation's military might. He showed holographic displays of conquered worlds, fleets of crystal ships, and weapons that could crack planets. Each demonstration was accompanied by commentary about how resistance was impossible and surrender was the only logical choice. The crew of the Defiance listened politely, occasionally asking questions that seemed to please the alien admiral. Kextar clearly enjoyed having an audience for his tales of conquest. The world of Kepler 442b had fusion weapons. Kextar explained as a hologram showed a planet covered in mushroom clouds. They thought such primitive devices could harm our bioshields. Their entire military was eliminated in 6 hours. "Bioshields?" Turner asked. "How do they work?" Our ships absorb energy and convert it to strengthen our defenses, Kextar said proudly. The more powerful the attack, the stronger we become. It is technology beyond your current understanding. Fascinating, Turner replied. Our scientists will be very interested in learning about such advanced systems. As they approached the orbital station, Morrison could see other Earth ships moving into position nearby. To anyone watching, they looked like a normal honor guard. Only someone with access to military communications would know that Admiral Lisa Rodriguez was quietly positioning the home defense fleet. The station itself was a massive wheel spinning slowly against the backdrop of Earth below. Docking bays opened to receive both the human and alien vessels. As the ship settled into their berths, Morrison could see alien crew members through the transparent sections of their ships. They moved with the confidence of conquerors who had never tasted defeat. All ships secure, Captain, reported Brooks from the communications station. Admiral Rodriguez sends her compliments and requests that you escort our guest to Conference Room Alpha. Morrison nodded. Tell the Admiral we'll be there in 30 minutes. He turned to Turner. Ready to make history, Commander? As ready as anyone can be for something like this, she replied. As they prepared to meet the aliens face to face, neither Morrison nor Turner mentioned what they had both seen in the tactical readings. The Zephyrian Confederation's mighty warfleet, the ships that had conquered 17 star systems, were putting out energy signatures that barely registered compared to what Earth's military considered standard equipment. It was going to be a very interesting first contact indeed. Admiral Lisa Rodriguez stood in the war room deep inside the orbital station, surrounded by holographic displays showing ship positions throughout the solar system. The meeting with the alien delegation had ended an hour ago, and now Earth's military leaders faced a decision that would shape humanity's future. What's your assessment, Dr. Carter? Rodriguez asked the man studying alien technology readings on his tablet. Dr. Alex Carter looked up from his data, pushing his glasses higher on his nose. Their plasma weapons are impressive by visual standards, but the actual energy output is surprisingly low. Our standard deflector shields should handle anything they showed us today. General Patricia Hayes, representing the Army, leaned forward in her chair. What about their bioshields? The alien admiral seemed very proud of those. Carter pulled up a holographic display showing energy absorption patterns. It's clever technology, but it has obvious weaknesses. The bioshields work by converting incoming energy into defensive power, but they have limits. Push too much energy at them too fast, and the system overloads. President Clark joined the meeting via secure video link from Washington. Her face appeared on the main screen, looking tired but determined. Give me the bottom line, people. Can we defend Earth if these aliens decide to attack? Rodriguez exchanged glances with the other military leaders. Ma'am, based on what we've seen today, the Zephyrian Confederation poses minimal threat to our defense forces. Their technology appears to be several generations behind our current systems. The president raised an eyebrow. They conquered 17 star systems with inferior technology. That's what puzzles us, admitted Colonel Sam Wright, Earth's defense coordinator. Either the other species they fought were far less advanced than us, or there's something we're missing about Confederation tactics. Dr. Carter cleared his throat. I've been thinking about that. From studying their ship designs and weapon systems, I believe the Zephyrians developed their technology in an environment without serious military competition. Their bioships are elegant and efficient, but they're not built for warfare against a species that specializes in military engineering. Meanwhile, 3 decks above, Commander Beth Turner was giving Admiral Kextar and his officers a carefully planned tour of the station's civilian areas. The aliens moved through the corridors with the casual arrogance of beings who had never encountered serious opposition. Your construction methods are quite primitive, commented Sub-Admiral Veltar, one of Kextar's subordinates. The alien ran one of his 4 hands along a metal wall panel, still using crude metals instead of grown biomaterials. Turner smiled politely. We find metal construction very reliable for our needs. Would you like to see our recreational facilities? The tour continued through areas designed to look like typical human civilian spaces. The aliens saw shopping areas, restaurants, and living quarters that seemed unremarkable to their eyes. What they didn't see were the weapon emplacements hidden behind false walls, or the blast doors that could seal off sections in seconds. Your people seem very calm for a species facing conquest, observed Kextar, as they watched humans going about their daily routines through an observation window. Humans tend to be adaptable, Turner replied. We face challenges as they come. Back in the war room, Colonel Wright was coordinating with fleet commanders across the solar system. His fingers moved quickly across a holographic interface, sending coded messages to ships stationed near Mars, Jupiter, and the outer asteroid belt. All units report ready status, Wright announced. The Third Fleet is moving into position behind Jupiter's shadow. Admiral Chen confirms her ships will be ready to deploy in 4 hours. Rodriguez nodded. What about the home defense platforms? All orbital weapons are online and fully charged, reported Captain Steve Johnson from the Defense Control Center. The alien ships are within range of every major installation around Earth. President Clark's voice came through the speakers. Are we certain we want to take this confrontational approach? Perhaps we can negotiate with these aliens. Ma'am, Rodriguez said carefully. Admiral Kexatar made his intentions very clear during the meeting. He expects complete surrender within 72 hours. There was no room for negotiation in his demands. The alien delegation had indeed been very direct about their expectations. Kextar had shown holographic records of other conquered worlds, describing how resistance led to the complete destruction of planetary defenses and the subjugation of entire populations. He seemed to expect humans to be impressed and frightened by these displays. Instead, the human representatives had listened politely and asked technical questions about Confederation military doctrine. Turner had been particularly interested in learning about alien tactics and fleet organization, information that was now being analyzed by Earth's military intelligence. Their standard attack pattern seems to rely on intimidation first, reported Major Linda Foster from Intelligence. They demonstrate their weapons, demand surrender, and then attack with overwhelming force if refused. It's worked for them because the species they've encountered weren't prepared for organized resistance. Dr. Carter brought up another display. I've been analyzing the energy signatures from their ships. The power levels are consistent with what we'd expect from a civilization that's never faced serious military opposition. They've optimized for efficiency and intimidation rather than raw combat effectiveness. Lieutenant Commander Ryan Brooks entered the war room carrying a datapad. Admiral, we've completed our passive scans of the alien fleet. Every ship is exactly where our sensors said it would be. Their stealth technology is non-existent by our standards. Rodriguez felt a grim satisfaction. They have no idea we've been tracking their every movement since they entered the solar system. The meeting continued for another hour as plans were finalized and contingencies discussed. Outside the war room, life on the station continued normally. Civilians went about their business, unaware that humanity's first contact with aliens might soon turn into humanity's first interstellar war. In the alien section of the station, Admiral Kextar was composing his report to the Confederation Council. He described the humans as a typical primitive species, slightly more organized than most but clearly incapable of serious resistance. He recommended proceeding with standard conquest protocols after the surrender deadline expired. The Zephyrian. Admiral had no way of knowing that every communication from his ship was being intercepted and decoded by human intelligence. Earth's leaders were reading his reports as quickly as he sent them, learning valuable information about Confederation plans and expectations. As the hours passed, both sides prepared for what seemed inevitable. The aliens readied their weapons for what they expected to be a brief demonstration of superior firepower. The humans quietly moved their most advanced warships into position for humanity's first real test as a spacefaring military power. Neither side yet realized just how badly one of them had misjudged the situation. The conference room fell silent as Admiral Kextar finished speaking. His holographic presentation showed burning cities and shattered fleets from worlds that had dared to resist the Zephyrian Confederation. The alien admiral's 4 arms moved, in what humans had learned was a gesture of absolute authority. 72 hours, Kextar repeated, his black eyes reflecting the light from the display. That is how long your species has to surrender completely to the Confederation. After that time, we will demonstrate why resistance is impossible. President Clark's image on the main screen remained calm despite the ultimatum. Admiral Kextar, we appreciate your offer, but humanity must respectfully decline. We will defend ourselves if attacked. The alien delegation exchanged what could only be described as amused glances. Sub-Admiral Veltar made a sound that their translators interpreted as laughter. You cannot be serious. Did you not see the recordings of what happens to species that resist us? We saw them, replied Commander Turner from her seat at the conference table. We understand your position clearly. Kextar's skin shifted from blue to a deeper silver color, apparently a sign of irritation. Your primitive minds cannot grasp the power of the Confederation. We have plasma weapons that can melt your crude metal ships. Our bioshields grow stronger with every attack you make against us. Captain Morrison leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. We understand your weapons are very advanced, however, our answer remains the same. The alien admiral stood to his full height, nearly 8 feet tall. Then you have chosen extinction. When the deadline passes, we will begin with your orbital stations. Your people will watch from the surface as everything you have built in space becomes scattered debris. President Clark spoke from the screen. We regret that diplomacy has failed, Admiral. Captain Morrison will escort you back to your ships, so you can prepare for whatever you feel you must do. The aliens left the conference room with the confident stride of beings who had never lost a battle. Kexter made sure to tell every human they passed that resistance was futile and that surrender was still possible until the deadline expired. As the delegation returned to their ships, Morrison activated his communicator. Admiral Rodriguez, the talks have failed. They're sticking to their ultimatum. Understood, Captain. Return to the Defiance and prepare for hostile action. All fleet commanders are being notified. The next few hours passed with strange calm throughout human space. News broadcasts reported that diplomatic talks were continuing, but military personnel across the solar system quietly moved to battle stations. Civilian ships near potential combat zones received course corrections that took them safely away from danger areas. Aboard the Zephyrian flagship, Admiral Kextar addressed his fleet commanders via hologram. The humans have foolishly chosen to resist. We will proceed with standard conquest protocols. Position your ships for planetary bombardment demonstration. Admiral, asked Captain Nexvor of the escort ship Crystal Dawn, should we attempt to disable their primitive weapons first? Kextar waved dismissively. Their technology is so crude it poses no real threat. We will destroy their orbital installations to show them our power, then demand surrender again. No species has ever continued fighting after witnessing Confederation plasma weapons. The 12 alien ships moved away from the orbital station in perfect formation. Their crystal hulls began glowing brighter, as weapon systems charged for what Kextar expected to be a brief demonstration of superior firepower. On Earth's surface, emergency broadcast systems activated for the first time in decades. Citizens received instructions to move to designated shelters, not in panic but in the orderly way that humans had practiced for generations. Air raid sirens wailed in major cities, but people moved calmly to underground facilities built during earlier wars. The aliens monitored these broadcasts with confusion. Why are they not panicking? Asked Sub-Admiral Veltar. Every other species we have conquered showed fear and chaos when faced with our ultimatums. Humans are simply too primitive to understand their situation, Kextar replied. They will learn soon enough. What the aliens couldn't detect were the coded military signals passing between Earth's defense forces. Colonel Wright coordinated from the Orbital Command Center, watching as fleet positions updated on his tactical display. Third Fleet reports ready, announced Lieutenant Commander Brooks. Admiral Chen's ships are in position behind Jupiter. Home. Defense reports all platforms online, added Captain Johnson. Every weapon system in Earth orbit is charged and ready. Stealth frigates confirm alien ships are being tracked, reported Major Foster. The enemy has no idea we've been monitoring their every movement. Admiral Rodriguez reviewed the tactical situation one final time. The alien ships had positioned themselves exactly as Earth's analysts had predicted, following standard Confederation doctrine that worked well against unprepared opponents. All units, this is Fleet Command. Rodriguez broadcast on secure channels. We are now at Condition Red. Repeat, we are at Condition Red. All ships prepare for combat operations. Across the solar system, human warships that had been hiding in the shadows of planets and asteroids began moving toward intercept positions. The aliens' sensors, designed to detect the crude technology they expected from humans, completely failed to notice the approaching Earth fleet. On the Zephyrian flagship, Admiral Kextar prepared to fire the first shot of what he assumed would be a very short war. Target their largest orbital installation. One plasma lance burst should be sufficient to encourage surrender. The alien weapons charged with brilliant energy that made their crystal ships look like stars against the darkness of space. Kextar felt the familiar satisfaction of yet another easy conquest about to begin. Fire, he commanded. The plasma beam lanced out toward the orbital station, expecting to find crude human defenses that would crumble immediately. Instead, something happened that no Zephyrian had ever seen before. The beam struck the station's shields and simply disappeared, absorbed by defensive systems the aliens hadn't known existed. The station remained completely undamaged, its lights still twinkling peacefully in Earth orbit. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Kextar felt a cold sensation that took him several moments to recognize it was fear. Admiral Kextar stared at his weapons display in disbelief. The plasma lance that had destroyed cities on 17 worlds had struck the human orbital station and done nothing. The energy readings showed the beam had simply vanished into the station's defensive systems. Impossible, whispered Sub-Admiral Veltar. Our plasma weapons can penetrate any known shield technology. Before Kextar could respond, new contacts appeared on their sensors. Ships were emerging from behind Earth's moon, their sleek metal hulls reflecting sunlight as they moved toward the alien fleet. The lead human vessel was smaller than the Zephyrian flagship, but moved with a precision that caught the alien admiral's attention. Its hull was dark gray with angular lines that looked nothing like the flowing curves of Confederation bioships. "This is Captain Joe Martinez of the USS Thunderbolt," came a calm voice over the communication system. "You have fired on a civilian installation. Stand down your weapons immediately." Kextar's skin flushed deep silver with anger. "Primitive humans dare to threaten the Confederation? I will show you the price of resistance." The alien flagship's main plasma lance charged again, its crystal hull blazing with energy. This time Kextar aimed directly at the approaching human warship, intending to vaporize it completely. The brilliant beam struck the Thunderbolt's forward shields and scattered like light hitting a mirror. The human ship continued its approach, without even slowing down. "Our turn," Captain Martinez said simply. A single projectile launched from the Thunderbolt's forward weapons array. It moved faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. A metal slug accelerated to incredible speed by magnetic fields. The railgun round punched through the shields of a Zephyrian escort ship like they weren't even there. The alien vessel shuddered as the projectile tore through its biohull from front to back. Atmosphere and glowing fluid leaked from the holes, and the ship's beautiful crystal surface went dark as power systems failed. "How is this possible?" demanded Captain Nexfor from the damaged ship. "Our bioshields should have absorbed that energy." Dr. Carter's voice came over an open channel from the orbital station. "Your shields work by converting energy into defensive power, but kinetic weapons don't rely on energy. They use simple physics, mass times velocity. Your biotechnology has no defense against old-fashioned momentum." More human ships appeared from different directions. The aliens suddenly realized they were surrounded by vessels they hadn't detected until now. The humans had somehow hidden an entire fleet in their own solar system. "Admiral," reported the Zephyrian sensor operator, "I'm detecting at least 30 human vessels. Their stealth technology is beyond our ability to track." Kextar tried to maintain his composure. "All ships, engage the humans. Show them the full power of the Confederation." The alien fleet opened fire with everything they had. Plasma beams and energy weapons lit up space as the Zephyrians unleashed their most devastating attacks. The humans' response was immediate and Precise Commander Kate Phillips aboard the USS Stormbreaker launched a spread of guided missiles. The weapons moved like living things, dodging the aliens' defensive fire and adjusting their paths in real time. The Zephyrian point defense systems, designed to stop simple projectiles, couldn't track missiles that thought for themselves. "Incoming projectiles are changing course," reported an alien gunner. "They're adapting to our countermeasures." The missiles struck 3 alien ships simultaneously. Unlike the crude explosives the Zephyrians expected, these weapons used focused energy bursts that overloaded bioship systems without completely destroying them. The aliens found their vessels disabled but not dead, floating helplessly as their crystal hulls flickered and dimmed. "Surgical strikes," observed Captain Morrison from the Defiance. "We're taking them apart piece by piece." The tide of battle turned completely when the USS Leviathan arrived from the outer system. The massive human dreadnought dwarfed every ship in the alien fleet. Its hull was lined with weapon batteries that contained more firepower than the Zephyrians had brought to conquer Earth. Captain Dan Foster's voice boomed across all communication channels. "This is the Leviathan. Any alien vessel that does not immediately power down weapons will be disabled." Admiral Kextar looked at the human warship that was larger than his flagship and 3 escort vessels combined. The energy readings from its weapons were beyond anything in Confederation records. "How did humans develop such technology?" he asked nobody in particular. The answer came from Captain Martinez. "We've been fighting wars for thousands of years, Admiral. Every conflict taught us something new about building better weapons. Your Confederation conquered peaceful species that never had to learn how to fight." Sub-Admiral Veltar's ship tried to run, activating what the aliens considered their fastest engines. A human frigate intercepted it easily, matching its speed, and forcing it to stop with weapons that the Zephyrians couldn't even identify. "Your fastest ships are slower than our patrol vessels," reported the frigate captain. "We've been tracking your fleet since you entered our solar system. You never had a chance to escape." One by one, the alien ships found themselves surrounded and outgunned. Their plasma weapons couldn't penetrate human shields. Their bioarmor couldn't stop human projectiles. Their speed couldn't match human engines. Admiral Kextar realized with growing horror that the Confederation had not encountered a primitive species. They had stumbled into the territory of apex predators, who had spent millennia perfecting the art of warfare. "All ships cease fire," he ordered with a voice that shook with defeat. "Request terms for surrender." Captain Morrison's face appeared on every alien screen. "Admiral Kextar, you are outgunned, outnumbered, and completely outclassed. Your ships will be escorted to holding positions where you will await instructions from Earth Command." The proud Zephyrian fleet that had conquered 17 star systems found itself herded like cattle by human warships. The aliens who had expected to add Earth to their empire now faced the possibility that their own worlds might fall under human control. As the USS Leviathan moved closer to the alien flagship, Kextar could see weapons that made his plasma lances look like toys. The human dreadnought was a machine built for one purpose: winning wars against any enemy foolish enough to challenge humanity. "We were wrong," Kextar whispered to his crew. "We were terribly, terribly wrong." The conference room aboard the USS Leviathan was 3 times larger than any space on Admiral Kextar's flagship. The alien admiral sat at a metal table that could have been made from materials stronger than anything in Confederation technology. Across from him, Admiral Lisa Rodriguez reviewed data on a holographic display that showed the positions of human fleets throughout the galaxy. "Your Confederation controlled 17 star systems," Rodriguez said calmly. "Our long-range sensors show that you left minimal defenses at each world. Most of your military was here with your expedition fleet." Kextar's forearms trembled slightly. "You have been watching our territory?" "We've been watching everything," replied Captain Morrison from his seat beside Rodriguez. "Human deep space monitoring began decades ago. We knew about the Confederation before you knew about us." Dr. Carter activated another display showing technical readouts from the captured alien ships. "Your biotechnology is impressive for its integration with natural systems. However, it's designed for harmony and efficiency, not warfare. Human technology evolved differently." The alien admiral looked at the data with growing understanding. Your species developed weapons as your primary technology. Not by choice, Rodriguez explained. Humans fought each other for thousands of years before we reached space. Every war taught us new ways to build better weapons, stronger armor, faster ships. We didn't want to become warriors, but survival made us very good at it. Sub-Admiral Veltar, who had been silent during his own interrogation, finally spoke. The species we conquered never resisted effectively. They built defenses but not weapons designed to kill. Captain Martinez nodded from the corner where he stood. That's the difference. You fought species that tried to protect themselves. We are a species that learned to destroy enemies completely. The full scope of human military capability was becoming clear to the aliens. Rodriguez showed them sensor data from human fleets that had been secretly observing Confederation space for months. Ships had been positioned near every major alien world, waiting for orders that might never come. You could have attacked our homeworlds while our fleet was here, Kextar realized with growing horror. We could have, Rodriguez agreed. But humans prefer to end conflicts quickly and completely. Destroying your fleet eliminates the Confederation's ability to make war without harming civilian populations. Commander Turner entered the conference room carrying a datapad. Admiral, we've completed our analysis of Confederation military doctrine. They've been using the same tactics for over a century because they've never needed to change. The aliens had relied on intimidation and overwhelming shows of force because it had always worked. They would arrive at a new world, demonstrate their plasma weapons, demand surrender, and face minimal resistance from species that had never developed serious military technology. Earth is different, Dr. Carter continued his explanation. Our history is filled with arms races, technological competition, and military innovation driven by constant conflict. We didn't develop fusion power for energy. We developed it for weapons. We didn't create artificial intelligence for convenience. We created it to control weapon systems. Captain Dan Foster's voice came over the intercom from the Leviathan's bridge. Admiral Rodriguez, the Confederation Home Fleet has just surrendered to Admiral Chen's task force. Their remaining ships are requesting terms. Kextar's skin went completely silver with shock. The Home Fleet? But they have 50 ships. Admiral Chen has 200, Rodriguez replied simply. Your home fleet was outnumbered 4-1 by ships with superior technology, better weapons, and crews trained for actual warfare. The reality of the situation settled over the alien delegation like a heavy weight. The Confederation that had seemed so powerful was being dismantled by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Human fleets were taking control of alien space lanes, alien military bases, and alien command centers. What happens to our people? Asked Veltar quietly. That depends on your government's cooperation, Rodriguez answered. Humans don't want to rule alien species. We want to make sure you can't threaten other worlds. Your military will be disbanded, but your civilian populations will be left alone. Captain Morrison activated a communication link to Earth. President Clark's face appeared on the screen, addressing the alien delegation directly. Admiral Kextar, the Confederation's reign of conquest is over. However, we're not interested in becoming conquerors ourselves. Your species will retain control of your home worlds under human oversight until you demonstrate peaceful intentions, the we. Alien Admiral struggled to understand this concept. You will not enslave us? Slavery is inefficient, President Clark replied. We want trading partners, not subjects. Your biotechnology has applications that could benefit both our species if used for peaceful purposes. Dr. Carter brought up displays showing potential joint research projects. Confederation bioships could be excellent for exploration and scientific research. Combined with human propulsion and defense systems, they could open new frontiers for both our species. Over the following hours, the terms of surrender were finalized. The Confederation's military would be completely disbanded. Human observers would be stationed on all former Confederation worlds. Alien species that had been conquered by the Zephyrians would be liberated and given the choice of independence or human protection. You will find that humans can be generous allies, Rodriguez told Kextar as the negotiations concluded. But you've also learned what happens to species that threaten us. The alien admiral nodded slowly. We underestimated you completely. We thought your crude appearance meant crude minds and crude weapons. That's a mistake many species have made throughout human history, Captain Morrison replied. We've learned not to judge others by appearance, but apparently not everyone learned that lesson. As the meeting ended, Kextar was escorted back to his ship under heavy guard. The once proud Confederation fleet would return to their home worlds as prisoners, carrying news of humanity's emergence as the galaxy's dominant military power. In the weeks that followed, human fleets spread throughout what had been Confederation space. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted permanently in a single day of combat that lasted less than 6 hours. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the Leviathan's observation deck, watching Earth grow larger as they returned home. Humanity had passed its first test as a spacefaring military power, but she knew it wouldn't be the last. Somewhere in the galaxy, other species were probably making the same mistake the Confederation had made, assuming that humans were just another primitive species waiting to be conquered. They would learn, as the Zephyrians had learned, that appearances could be very deceiving when it came to the species that had turned warfare into an art form.